So did you always have a knack for that kind of thing, or is that something you grew into?
Play, and I'm blocking for Marshawn Lynch.
Well,
I wouldn't say a knack, but I did. Like I kind of caught interest in it when I was at Bake Home.
WNBA draft night, was it crazy?
It was definitely crazy.
Well, listen, man. Two-time, right? Count them. Two-time, back-to-back state champ, right? You done took on a new endeavor. Man, but before we get into all of that, man, congratulations.
Yeah, thank you.
And I know the congratulations are in order, but I got to say it to you on the record. But let's just recap the whole season that just finished, the 2022-2023 campaign. You returned a lot, right, from your previous state championship team from the year before.
Yeah.
You're going at it again with kids that are a year older, a year more experienced, maybe a year bigger ego, maybe, I don't know. But you just walk me through everything that went into having a successful season this past season, and how you truly determined what was going to be a success.
Well, like I said, man, we had some guys that came from the previous state championship. Ricky and Will was a big piece. I mean, they were leaders. They were leaders. The year before their junior year, so them coming in the senior year. I mean, the kids really had a lot of respect for them. So it kind of made it easy, you know what I mean, to have those guys around. Carlos Strong, man, those are guys that have been with me since 6th grade. So having them around, man, and just having them be able to, just kind of understand my personality and just implement them with the kids as well. You know what I mean? And those guys that was with me the year before, it just made it a little bit easier. You know what I mean? Of course, it was a lot of adversity as usual, but I mean, they kind of had the recipe of what we dealt with. You know what I'm saying? The year before, with all the adversity and just buying in and understanding what it takes to buy in and all that type of stuff, man. It's made it a little bit easier, but like I said, there's always something in the game. You know what I mean? That wrinkles things up, but. Will, especially Will, man, because Ricky had left mid-season for football, go to Ohio University.
He went and got a head start on college.
Right, so I literally had Ricky for maybe 2 games, and that's just probably because he just wanted to, Ricky just loves the game, man. So, if he's around, he's going to play.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? And, that kid, man, he's just something special. So, I'm not going to deny anything on him. But Will really stepped up, and it was tough for Will when Ricky left because, they double teamed on a lot of people, you know what I'm saying? So it was easy. When it came down to just Will, it was tough, but Will just figured out a way towards the end to really just understand, okay, it's just me, I got to do this. Mm-hmm. But having, Coach Nate and Chev and Donnie, man, I mean, those guys kind of understood what it took because they was with me the year before. So, just everybody being on the same page, man, it just makes it easy.
Now, having won a state championship after your first year, I could imagine parts moving around, whether that means you have players deciding they want to come to Millwood, whether they transferring or they moving to come to Millwood, and then your coaches, if they're ambitious, may be looking around for some better opportunities, or maybe they get poked away from you. How did you deal with any of that, number one? And number two, how did you handle it?
Yeah, when we lost 4 seniors coming out of that 2022 season, and all 4 of those guys got a lot of minutes. Chev almost took a job as a head coach at Star Spencer, for the girls. So losing him was going to be, that was going to be hard. Things didn't work out for him to stay, so that helped us out a lot. But, like I said, those seniors leaving, I mean, because 2022 we were able to platoon. I had 10, basically 10 starters on that team.
Yeah, and you played them like that too.
Yeah, so with those 4 starters leaving, I had to, have had a couple of other kids to step up. And just kind of play that role, and they just did their part. You know what I mean? Like Robert Wilson came in and really played a huge part last year with starting, and obviously Carlos started the year before. Zaire Fisher came through, really helped us out tremendously. You know what I mean? So he made a big impact.
Mm-hmm.
I had a couple of kids that I didn't even think was gonna basically play varsity. Mark Presley and Donovan Knight, both of those guys came in and they really
earned their keep.
Earned their keep, especially in playoffs, man. So I mean, you you kind of never know who's going to come in and just step up, man. And those guys really stepped up. And like I said, Will just me kind of being the captain of the team, man. Jay Nick was hurt throughout a lot of the season, and he was able to come in right around playoffs. You know what I'm saying, and do what he does. So everything just kind of came together right around playoffs, which was the time that you want everything to kind of come together.
What was that injury that he was dealing with, Nickens?
He had a few injuries, man, from football, man. His shoulder was bothering him. He had a leg injury. So he had a few injuries that was just nagging him, man. I mean, so a lot of times he would just come to practice, man. We just happened just doing rehab stuff. And, he was just ready to go, man, right around playoffs, man. And really right around area was when he came back. So it was perfect timing.
Would you say, I ain't gonna say rattle, that's too strong of a word, but were you worried at all with having situations like that, one of your big money producers being out of the mix for whatever reason, whether it's injuries or anything else, and then having to start the season without some of your top guns because they still handling business in football, man?
Yeah, that's always a concern. I mean, throughout the year, any of your major players, main guys, you always hope and pray they don't get hurt.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But like I said, you try to get everybody else that's in the background or that normally don't get that opportunity. You know what I'm saying? Give them the opportunity and hope they just seize the moment.
Mm-hmm.
So, like I said, I had a couple of guys that did that. I mean, especially during, like I said, in the regionals, Donovan really stepped up for us, Donovan Knight. You know what I'm saying? So, he was a big part of the reason why we won that game. We had the game control, but it was a hostile crowd. And he took a charge and then, came down and got a big layup that really kind of, sealed the deal for us. So, just kind of keeping those guys, that's in the background or whatever, man, just letting them know, hey, man, your opportunity may come, be ready. You know what I mean? Don't worry about, anything else, just buying into what we're doing because you're all part of the situation. And like I said, once they did, man, it just they came through and it was huge for us.
Now, when we were working together, right, leading into the pandemic, the 1920 campaign, I remember
2020.
That's right. That's right. You said it better than me. We had the fellas running cross country in the preseason.
Oh yeah.
Was that the same operation this past year? Or did y'all do preseason differently?
Yeah, I always had them doing cross country. I mean, I feel like cross country would make them mentally tough. You know what I mean? It just, the conditioning is cool, but it's totally different than basketball conditioning. And, I just think it makes it mentally tough and just strengthens the legs. But yeah, I continue to do that throughout, the time I was at Millwood. Yeah.
Oh yeah. Okay. Now the days where y'all weren't running, what did on the court instruction look like during the months of August, September, before October? Was it the same atmosphere as practice, or was it a little bit of a different tone, different vibe?
Well, it wasn't practice; it was more of a workout. So normally, when we did get through cross country, we would come in and just basically just kind of let them get the shots up, where we may do some skill drills or maybe just working on a little defense, but. Just kind of kept it playing, in the off season. Like I said, that cross country was rough because it would be hot outside. We would practice after school. Yeah. So, but they always wanted to get back in the gym, man. At least get some shots up or something. For that extra hour or whatever. But yeah, man. Like I said, the kids are just bought in, man. They just wanted to do whatever it took. You know what I mean? To just try to get another state championship.
When first official practice began in October, would you say? I know you had some guys in basketball still, some guys that was some dudes too that were going to be vital to the process, but you also had some big names on the field. Would you say your core group that you really leaned on was in basketball at the time, or were they football guys?
They were definitely football guys. Like I said, I had Zaire over there, Will, Jay, Nick, Carlos, Cudjoe. It was about 6 guys. Donovan, about 6 guys that came from football. That kind of immediately changed the whole situation as far as practice and just what we were doing. The guys I had before, like I said, it gave them an opportunity to guys that normally wouldn't play or start and things like that had that opportunity to do that before football came. Football went all the way to the championship, so I didn't get them until, right around December. Matter of fact, their first game was the Douglas game. So, I got them to practice for that Douglas game probably about 3 days. And then we get out there and play Douglas. It was mayhem, but,
right.
They just played hard, man, and it was, it was a tough game.
What game was that on the schedule? Y'all had played how many before the Douglas game?
I think about 7 or 8 games. Yeah, because we had a tournament and a few regular season games. So yeah, we had about 7 or 8 games before they showed up.
I would imagine that's some good reps for those guys who weren't playing football, hadn't been able to establish an identity. And would you say that y'all were having some success during that time period? It wasn't all bad, was it?
It wasn't all bad. We had a couple of times we should have won the game, and just that inexperience, towards the end kind of hurt us. But we got a lot of respect. I can say that. You know what I mean? There were some games, like I said, we should have won and went to overtime, or we may have lost by 1 or 2 points. that are really good teams that, you know, they probably didn't think we were going to be able to do what we did. So, yeah, I mean, it was very good reps for those guys. And like I said, I mean, I think those guys gained a lot of respect, you know, just considering we had probably 4 starters on the football field.
That's key, man. When the whole platoon finally got back, based on your estimation, when about would you say, okay, we starting to look like us? And what I mean by that is the football guys are starting to get in their groove. They're starting to get their wind, get their timing back, and they're starting to mesh, and y'all looking like somebody to be dealt with.
That usually, you know, I mean, you know, January is a grind. So,
Yeah, it
you
is.
know, right through January is kind of where, you know, you kind of get through it. I mean, we played really well in the Moore tournament, made it to the championship in the Moore tournament, had a little meltdown in that tournament, you know, for the championship game. But like I said, those are things that just kind of help us figure things out.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like I said, we played really well. We beat Norman North. We beat, I forget who else we beat. We beat some good teams, you know what I mean? Played Moore. We played Moore and Norman North, which are 2 really big 6A teams. And we beat both of them, played Westmore in the championship. Like I said, we just had a meltdown. You know, it was just that time. You know what I mean? To just, you know, for them to just kind of, you know, have that meltdown. 'Cause, you know, it's at some point you're going to have it. And you need that just to get a response and just to respond. And they just responded well. So that January, that grind, you know what I'm saying, with the football boys comes back, it was because there's so many games. Because normally you have 2 tournaments and just games every, you know, Tuesday and Friday. It really helps those guys get back in the mix and just, you know, because I mean, you know, we think we lost maybe 10 or I think we lost 10 games last year. So for me, I don't really care about the win or losses. For me, it's just about, you know, being at the right, you know, just kind of being on the right cylinders for February. You know what I mean, for playoffs. So.
I'm telling you what's wild is you ain't always been zen like that when it come to, you know, I don't think you would have said that a couple of years ago, man. I don't really care about the wins or losses. I'm just trying to peak at the right time.
Well, I think
Jeffries, I know want to win the scrimmages.
Yeah, I want to win
everything.
I mean, I'm still competitive that way. I still want to win everything, but yeah, I've definitely settled down from that aspect because I realize, you know what I mean, I want to play my best basketball in February and March. You know, and I mean, you know, just getting a little bit of experience, you know what I mean, and just kind of going through some things, you tend to settle down, you know what I'm saying, 'cause you just realize some things aren't just worth it. So, you know what I mean, and these kids are just different, so you have to just be a little bit more zen, you know what I mean? So, you know, for me, like I said, I just want to be able to, you know, the rankings, I mean, I think we feel, like I said, I think we had enough respect where our rankings were okay. You know, I didn't think we'd ever drop below 3. Because everybody understood, you know what I'm saying, you know, what we had going on, you know, especially in 3A. So rankings are important, you know, especially for playoffs. But like I said, I felt it didn't matter what was going on. Because I felt like we were battle tested. We played a lot of tough teams. I mean, most of the teams we played were all top 10 teams in 4A, 5A, and 6A. So I felt like we were battle tested for 3A for sure.
That's a good segue. I was going there next. Your strength of schedule, is that strategic?
That's definitely strategic.
Yeah.
I mean, I want to play the best, you know, whoever the best team is, I don't care who it is, I want to play them. You know what I mean? And so, you know, because it's just a measuring stick. I kind of want to see what my guys are, how they're going to handle it. You know what I'm saying? And it's just, you know, it's good for them to understand where they are too. So, you know, so we can build from it.
Yeah.
So, you know, especially being a 3A team. I mean, but you know, like I said, we had a lot of respect. I mean, there wasn't too many 6A teams to be like, nah, I don't want to play Mill. They wanted to play us because they knew we were going to play hard. We was going to bring some heat to them. So, you know what I'm saying? So, I mean, I don't think, you know, some 6A programs like, I don't want to play Millwood or 3A team because that's a bad loss for us. But everybody knows about Millwood, man. I mean, nobody's, I mean, you know, the people that really know, they know. You know what I'm saying? That's not a bad loss because you're going to have athletes, you know what I mean? And, you know, we're going to play hard. I mean, you know, that's how it was when I was there. You know what I'm saying? I mean, so hopefully, you know, like I said, I'll always have love for Millwood. Hopefully it'll continue that way.
Word. And of course, you know, we there's a lot to unpack in that chapter, so we hang in there for a minute. Was it difficult at all this past season to keep those guys' feet on the ground? Because although they were experienced and, you know, been through some battles, they're still teenagers that have had a lot of success, and that could be kind of tough to keep them suckers believing that there's another level that they could reach. Did that get tricky at all this past year?
I mean, it always gets a little tricky, especially with these kids these days. But I mean, like I said, I mean, I've already kind of built my culture there, and like I said, I had good leadership with Will and Ricky and you know, Carlos, and just I had good coaches, you know what I'm saying, to back me up on things. So, you know, we kind of had a tight knit in there, man. I mean, you know, good relationship with the kids. I mean, they understood what was going on. So, if we did have any issues, everybody just kind of came together and tried to fix it. You know what I mean? Like that's just kind of that we were a family, man. So, we have issues just like everybody else, man. But like I said, I mean, everybody would step in and be like, hey, man, let's get it together. You know what I mean? Blah, blah, blah. So, the coaches, everybody, we just all, everybody was just on the same page. And that just makes a huge difference.
Take me through that playoff run, from the first game of the district championship all the way through to when y'all won that final game, man, game by game. What do you remember about those challenges, and what surprises, if there were any, that you saw from your guys, like, oh snap, we there?
Well, I mean, like I said, I mean, it was a weird year again because our gym was down, so we had to play our district game at Oklahoma Christian School. Crossings Christian, my bad. We had to play our district game at Crossings Christian. We played our final games at Langston. So
your final home game?
Our final home games were at Langston. So we had like our homecoming / senior night at Langston. And like I said, played our district game, which was a home game for us at Crossings Christian against, I think, Harding Fine Arts, which, I mean, they struggled a little bit. I mean, I don't want to put them down or anything, but that's just what it is. So
did something bad to them.
Then we went to regionals out in Morris and played.
That's right. We were down
Sequoia,
there together.
yeah. That was a tough game. It was very hostile in there. I mean, they had to. At one point, they had to stop the game because of just the crowd, and it was just hostile, man. The fourth quarter, their best player, man, just got really hot. It just made it a tough game for us. You know what I mean? Then we go to area.
Okay, at Morris, that was Keys, wasn't it?
That was Keys.
Keys, yeah.
That was Keys. I think
y'all played Claremore Sequoia at Verdigris to go to state.
That's right. Yeah, Sarah Claymore. Yes, at Verdigris, and that was a tough game too because they were really good. I mean, every team. Once you get in the playoffs, especially towards in that area situation, it starts getting really tough.
Yeah.
So Sequoia Claremore was really good, man. We kind of understood who was who, and just that's what we just try to do, man. Defensively, man, we just try to find the weaknesses and just push on it. And that's just pretty much how we do it throughout every game.
Yeah.
Staying
on that game though, you brought something back to me in that one. I remember when the horn went off when y'all beat Sequoia Claremore. Man, I saw Z super pumped, man. That's like it was, because it was his first dance.
Right.
A lot of those guys they've been there before. Not to say that their celebration wasn't solid, but it hit him differently. I could tell, man. That's like it embraced you on another level, man.
Yeah, he sent me
like?
some pictures yesterday. It was just us hugging and stuff, man. But yeah, I mean, it was huge. Like I said, man, Zaire was a special kid, man. I developed a really good relationship with him, so for him to be able to experience that, that was huge for him. I mean, that's it's one of the reasons why he wanted to be a part of Millwood. It's just the culture and the tradition, you know what I'm saying? I mean, so yeah, he was super excited, man. I mean, we went to state. I mean, just everything was just, it was really heightened for him. And I mean, he played well. I mean, he was MVP of the state tournament.
Yeah, he was.
So he played really, he played well. And I mean, like I said, I mean, those kids, man. I mean, they're just, all of them, man. They just played their role in every way. Every last one of those kids, and that's what made it so special because nobody was really, there was no hate. There was just, everybody was excited what was going on. They understood what was going on. And that's just something, like I said, with that staff I had and just, Will and everybody, man, we just created that culture for them just to believe and understand what we're doing. And it just works out that way, man. I mean, it worked out for us.
Got it done. So suppose we'll speed through the state tournament chapter. Your three opponents, man, the order of operation. Who, and who? I know y'all beat Metro in the finals, right? And now, refresh my memory, was Crooked Oak the semis?
Crooked Oak was the semis.
Okay.
I can't remember who was in the quarters.
Because I can't either.
I can't remember.
I feel terrible about it.
I do too.
We'll look it up.
Yeah, I do too. But I mean, like I said, I mean, it's Crooked Oak was a team that in the semis that we knew they had some really good guards, especially with Tamir and the other kid, I can't forget his name right now, but and they're big. Their big was solid too. So they had a really tough team, but I just felt like we were going to go there and just kind of destroy them. I just had that feeling. You know what I mean? Like I just had a strong feeling about that. I was a little concerned about Metro.
Mm-hmm.
Metro was a really good team.
Right.
But once we started playing, you know what I mean? I felt like, once we started playing them, I felt confident.
Mm-hmm.
Like I said, okay, we got control of this. Like, my boys locked in. You know what I mean? The game plan is working. You know what I mean? So once we started going, I could just kind of see them feeling like, okay, yeah, we can't get past these guys. You know what I mean? Like, there's nothing we can really do. I could just see it. So I felt that through the whole game. And of course, I mean, my guys did the same thing they did in 2022. For whatever reason, they started playing the stall ball.
Yeah, I remember
You
that.
know what I mean?
Took their foot all the way off the gas.
Yeah, I mean, you know, in both games, I'm going crazy, like asking, just wondering why are you guys
stay
like
aggressive.
just stay what we're doing. I mean, you know, we got control of the game. We'll stall around 2 minutes.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? But you guys are trying to stall the
5
whole
minutes.
fourth quarter.
No, we can't do that.
So, of course, when we started playing that stall ball, they started getting that momentum. They started just kind of hitting big shots, you know what I mean, free throws, and just, you know, we're doing down there and, you know, kind of passing the ball all over the place and just, you know what I mean, kind of being hesitant, not sure what we should do for our shooting and, you know, seeing scoring.
Everything getting tight now.
Everything's getting tight. So, thank God, I mean, just, you know, towards the end, Carlos just made, you know, a couple of big plays. Because they had plenty of opportunities because they had the ball, you know, on their baseline. I want to say about 4 times in a row. You know what I mean? And so, you know, I was that's when I was tight. That's when I was nervous, you know, because I'm like, man, you know what I'm saying? We had this in the bag, and you know what I mean? Now they have an opportunity, and every time I feel like we get it back, it's a foul. Ball bounces out of bounds. You know what I mean? Just something crazy.
Can't get off that end of the court.
Yeah, we can't get off that end of the court. So we finally, I think Carlos took a charge. We get the ball back, you know, we get the ball in Z's hands, and he hits the free throws, and that pretty much wrapped it up.
I'm gonna tell you what's interesting about that, and you correct me if I'm wrong, but for the majority of the season, at least the majority of the second half of the season, y'all, Millwood and Metro, were number 1 and 2 in 3A. So very rarely do we see the guys that are supposed to be in that game.
The top 8.
Yeah.
I'm trying to figure out who that was. That was number 7 or so. The top 8 was all in the state finals. Made it to state. So they got it. I mean, they got it completely right. The top 8 made it to state. So
we literally got to see the best of the best.
Right. So it worked out perfect. Roland. No, we didn't play Roland, but Roland was in it. Let's see. I cannot think of who we played, man, in the quarters, man. That's crazy.
That's going to mess with you for the rest of the evening.
Yeah, that's going to bother me. I'm going to go look at it as soon as I get in there.
Yeah.
But, yeah, it was I mean, like I said, anytime you get to playoffs, man, around that area, you know, and just kind of depending, you know, what you got going on, it's tough. Like regional was tough. Like I said, that Keys game, man, them suckers gave us everything we could take, man.
I was there watching that game.
Yeah, that was a tough game, man. So, you know, that was the regional finals. That was the regional championship. That was a tough game, man. So, you know, playoffs are just tough. You never know who's going to really step up.
Once y'all were into the spring, and I know you had a great spring break coming off of that, you know what I mean? But how much of it was joy because y'all won it again and got the job done, and how much of it was relief that the run was over? You know what I mean? You lived up to expectations.
It's always joy and relief, man. You know what I'm saying? I mean, you know, like I said, I was fortunate enough to, you know, have a spring break in 2022 where you're just like, you can enjoy the spring break. You know, 2021, you know what I mean? I'm spring break, I'm all mush face and mad, and you know what I mean? Replaying everything. You know, so 2022, you get spring break, and I'm got you know, gold balls on the tour with us.
Yeah.
Moving around, and then 2023, same thing, man. 2023 really probably was a little bit more relaxing. Mm-hmm. Okay, I'm sitting at home and I'm just relaxing. Yeah. You know what I mean? Through spring break. And then, you know, we get back to school, man. You know, I told the guys, hey, man, you know, all through April, you know, I mean, we're gonna chill. When May comes around, we'll start, you know, doing some off-season stuff again. Mm-hmm. But yeah, everybody was just, you know, excited, man. You know what I mean? And you know, if you played, you know, some of the guys played baseball, some of the guys did track. You know, and yeah, man, it was relaxing. It was relaxing, man. You know, it makes it a lot easier April and May when you win state. I can tell you that. You know, you don't win state in April and May, man. You ready to get back in the grind. I mean, as soon as you get back in the building, let's go.
The latter part of March.
Yeah.
Soon
as some of the kids, I remember some of the kids want to get in the gym during spring break because they're upset. You know, they want to know. They're already looking for the next year. But yeah, when you win, man, it's, you know, kind of have that relaxing motion, that moment, man. Yeah. Just like, you know, just kind of kick back, like, yeah.
And it's crazy when you get back, then things start changing. First domino to fall. One of your assistant coaches, Jeffries Smith, he gets his first I guess you could say his first gig as a head coach. You know, not considering what happened with the Star Spencer situation, but he gets it for real.
It's a big piece, man. Chev was a huge piece.
And just for the record, he's now the head boys basketball coach at Lawton High, and so Now you're still a Falcon at that time. You're
Right.
like, okay, well, how can I fill this spot?
Right. Yeah.
Then
So I'm trying to figure it out.
next thing happens. How did we get you over here as a Panther, man? Walk me through that whole process and what all you can share.
Well, I was called. I got the call from here, from Plum City North, letting them know that Coach Wagner resigned, and they asked me, basically told me to apply, and I applied, did the interview. Uh, they hired me. They offered me the job.
I remember talking to you during that whole situation. And you just made it sound cut and dry, but I know it wasn't that easy for you to just pounce on
It
it.
wasn't. It was
like
tough.
that, man.
It was a difficult process, and it happened
Yeah.
really fast. You know what I mean? Like it wasn't one of those deals where I had a lot of time to think about it. Like it really happened fast. Once they told me about it, I think it was on a Wednesday, and by the next Wednesday, or Thursday, they already offered me the job.
Mhm.
So yeah, it was a difficult process because, like I said, I had I was already looking forward to winning the state championship with Millwood. You know what I mean? Like I said, I
Reload.
had some really good pieces coming back. Like I said, great relationships. Like I said, I got a lot of love for Millwood. So it was a very difficult decision to come here. I think the main thing really was just the fact that it's just being here is a little bit more convenient. As far as I live pretty close by. The hours here are different. So just for a family standpoint, it made more sense for me to be here. Obviously, we're at a rebuilding stage here because they lost 6 seniors here last year.
Yeah.
So I got 2 guys, on this team here at Public City North, Anthony Leonard and Kai Brown, that have experience. So I got other guys, that I'm going to, expect to step up and understand roles. And Anthony and Kai had to change their roles, from what they had to deal with last year. Like I said, they were sophomores with, 3 seniors and 2 other seniors, they basically came off the bench.
Mm-hmm.
So their roles were different last year. So I got some work to do here. But like I said, I'm going to bring the same energy and just concept that I built over at Millwood, man. Just develop relationships and get these kids to buy in. And I got a good coaching staff here.
Who you got?
I got Denzel Wembley. He was here last year. Corey Mathis was here last year, and I brought in Tondrell Durham that has state championships. He has been a part of 10 state championships with a lot of experience with him. So I'm excited, man. I'm excited what we got going on, and like I said, I'm gonna get these guys to buy in and just build the relationships with them like I normally do.
Now I got to ask you this on the record because I've asked this to you before on the phone. Did the fact that this was a new challenge factor into your decision? Not to say you just had it in a bag at Millwood, because it's always difficult to win a championship, I would imagine. But this one being a situation where some top guns, like you just listed, moved on, and so it's in a situation where it's ready for somebody to mold it and turn it into their own.
Like I said, the being here, yes, I know it's going to be a challenge, and I'm okay with that. You know what I mean? Because I've been down that road, so I'm good with it. And I feel like I can build something special.
Mm-hmm.
But like I said, my main decision basically was it's a family situation. I didn't come in, I didn't leave Millwood thinking, oh, I'm gonna go to North because it's a challenge. Like I said, the main thing was just really a family deal. I just felt like it was just more conducive for my family because my daughter's a big softball girl, so.
Mm-hmm.
I have to spend a lot of time with her. She's getting ready to start high school, and it's a lot of games. So just being closer and being able to get home a little earlier just kind of helps out with that situation. But yeah, it's definitely going to be a challenge here. 6A is definitely a lot tougher than 3A. The kids are a lot bigger. The schools are a lot bigger.
Mm-hmm.
So the competition level is a little different. But yeah, I'm definitely up for the challenge, man. I'm always up for a challenge. So like I said, I'm excited about getting these guys to. Like I said, just buy in, man. I've already developed relationships with them over the summer, and I call them quite a bit, just check on them, see what they're doing, and see them when they come to the gym, things like that. So I've already developed relationships, man. They're hungry, they're ready to get going, they're ready to see what we can do here.
You pretty much got the job right before team camps and all that stuff got started. Am I right?
Oh yeah.
So, how was the whole summer experience like for you thus far? What team camps or summer leagues that were y'all in throughout the month of June, and what's the day-to-day been looking like from then all the way to now?
I mean, like I said, I mean, I came in pretty much, like I said, right before team camps. We had OSU, ORU. We were going to go to UCO, but I had softball, so I had to cancel that. But I mean, I just told those guys go out there, man. I mean, obviously, I haven't implemented a system here or anything. You know what I mean? I just wanted to kind of see what they were working with. So I just, my main thing was just to have fun. I mean, show me some effort and be coachable. That was my main message to them. We would come in and we would, work out, work on defense, work out, work on offense, kind of put it together. So I mean, I would just get with them like 3 days, Monday, Tuesdays, and Thursdays, and normally the weekend, and we go to a team camp. But I mean, I kept it super simple, man. I mean, like I said, I don't want to try to come in and overwhelm them or anything like that. I just kept it simple, and like I said, when we went to team camps, just play hard, be coachable. You know what I mean? If I see something, let's try to adjust to it. I mean, I didn't have any expectations other than just effort and just being coachable and having a good attitude. That was pretty much my message throughout the summer. I mean, once we get back in here and the school starts, we can get rolling on the off season, and once October 1st hits, start really, implementing the system.
Were you pretty pleased with what you saw?
Oh yeah, yeah. I mean, I saw a lot of growth. I mean, like I said, it was rough. Don't get me wrong, but I mean, like I said, I'm playing against teams that, already have their system implemented, and you know what I mean. They got a lot of players coming back. Like I said, I'm dealing with a couple of, like only two guys that have varsity experience, and I'm dealing with a lot of inexperience. So those guys that inexperienced, I think they got to see different things, and what I was asking them to do, they did it. And they'll, like I said, once we start, they'll start understanding their roles. Everybody's starting to understand their roles, and it'll get easier for everybody.
What's your day job gonna be like? What they got for you over here in the building, Coach Jeffries?
Teaching
man?
no PE, man. You know what I mean? Just teaching PE and just just.
That's where your bread is buttered, though.
Yeah. I've been teaching PE for a while, so I teach PE, man. They have 2 athletic hours here, so that's a big deal to be able to. Not really 2 athletic hours. We have like fit well, which is a weightlifting hour, and then practice. So, for the most part, I have all my kids in that class, my basketball kids. I'll have freshman, JV, and varsity. So it'll be a lot of kids, but we'll work through it.
Mm-hmm. You already got your managers, hired up. I know you got to have the managers.
Yeah, not really, man. I mean,
Jeffries will hand them duties out, boy.
Yeah, I will hand them duties out, man. But I don't, like I said, I got to kind of figure that whole situation out too. I mean, like I said, everything is still brand new here. I'm still trying to learn and adjust to everything. But like I said, man, I feel confident and feel good about it. So, excited about it. So, I know everything's gonna be all right.
You've been juggling this for a while, and you touched on it a little bit earlier. But being a parent at the same time as being the head of a program, and now your daughter's getting older, she's going into high school, like you said, so her schedule's already rigorous. Because from what we talk about all the time, and it's probably getting ready to go up a notch.
It's going up a notch for sure.
And have you figured out a system thus far to be able to be as present in both worlds as you need to be?
Yeah, I mean, her mom helps out a lot, which is really good to be able to take her to practice and things like that. Like I said, when I can take her to practice, especially during the summertime, I mean, I have all the duties of taking her to morning practice and things like that. Her mom usually takes her to evening practice, and we go to all the games. So, like I said, her travel ball, we got to do a lot of traveling throughout the summer, so I don't get much of a break throughout the summer. Like I said, every morning I'm getting up to take her to practice, and I usually come here if anybody wants to get some shots up or whatever, and go in my office or whatever and work on some things in there. But then I go back and pick her up, and we kind of do our thing, and she pretty much gets ready for her evening practices. High school with softball, man. I mean, we're getting ready to go to Indiana for another nationals for a travel team. So when she gets back, man, she plays every day from Monday all the way through to I think Saturday. So as soon as she gets back from Indiana, which will be come back on a Sunday, that Monday she'll play Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, just all in a row with her school ball. So yeah, it's super rigorous, man. It's a lot, but she loves the game, man. So of course, we're gonna support her, and I feel like she's pretty good. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
I feel like she has an opportunity to go to the next level. So we give her every tool we can give her, man, to help her succeed. And she works hard, and it's a lot.
Y'all traveling all over the nation.
Yeah, it's a lot, man. It really is. It's softball is worse than basketball. It's a lot.
Yeah. Hey man, have you learned the sport more from watching it than maybe you did before?
Oh yeah, no doubt about it, man. I've learned a lot.
Yeah.
I could probably go out there and coach maybe a little team. You know what I'm saying? Have a little success with it. But yeah, I've learned a lot, man. I didn't know anything about softball, but obviously going to every game, so you start kind of learning about pitching and just rotations and, you start learning about all that stuff. I mean, of course, it's just like some guy comes from, a softball coach trying to come coach basketball. It would take time, but if you're a good coach, I feel like you can almost pretty much coach anything.
Yeah, and what you said earlier, establishing relationships, that's probably the foundation of all of it, right?
Yeah, but that's softball, man. It's a lot, bro.
You getting out there this weekend? No softball this
No
weekend?
softball this weekend.
Look at you.
Like I said, next weekend we're gonna go to Indiana for a week.
Mm-hmm.
Matter of fact, no, she does. She has softball. She has scrimmages tomorrow. So there's some scrimmages tomorrow.
Always on.
Yeah.
Now on the other end of the spectrum, your son Miles,
Mm-hmm.
is correct me if I'm wrong, is he entering into his senior year in college coming up?
He's pretty much entering into his junior year.
Oh, junior. Okay,
Yeah.
okay. I'm rushing him.
Yeah. I mean, I guess it could be a senior year, but that COVID year was just weird. But as far as academics, could be a senior year. But he's he's going to school to be architecture, so he's got a little bit more. He's got more years ahead of him. So
that's dope.
I guess he's going to be a senior for a while. I don't know. 'Cause they have extra. I don't even know how to call that because they have he has extra classes he has to take for architecture.
Mm-hmm.
So
I know you've been through the ringer with Miles ever since he was a little boy. You know what I mean? And just seeing him be a grown man, basically now getting ready to start his own journey into the world, man. How's that make you feel?
Makes me feel good, man. He's a great kid, man. I mean, he's 21 years old. I mean, he's in Portland, Oregon right now for a work program. So I mean, he's experiencing life, man. I mean, he knows how I am, man. He'll call me, ask me for some advice. I give him advice, and if he does it, that's up to him. I said, it's your life, dude. You do what you want to do. You just got to deal with it.
Mm-hmm.
It's just part of growing up. And so I feel like I've given you all the tools and helped you the best I could. Saying so now you gotta, I always tell him you're too heavy for me to carry, man. You got to walk on your own 2 feet, and you got to figure it out.
Yeah.
So that's the message I tell him all the time. So he'll ask me for advice, and like I said, whether he takes it or not, that's up to him. But like I tell him, you got to deal with it. What I'm saying? I'll never let you just completely fail, but if you fail, what I'm saying? If you can handle it, you're gonna have to handle it. You know what I mean? If you can't handle it, I'll do what I can to help you, unless it was just something.
Unless you just mismanage something.
Yeah, unless you just completely mismanage something.
Yeah,
you got to deal with that on your own. But I hope I've taught him to be smart enough to not to go down that road. But life is life, man. Everybody makes mistakes. So at some point I'm sure he's gonna make a bonehead mistake, and hopefully it's not too detrimental and he can pull himself out of it.
Yeah. 2 more questions for you. With you being in the role of sort of the go-to guy in a lot of ways, who does the go-to guy go to? When it comes to was it professional or personal? One of the people or some of the people in your village that you may lean on for some better understanding.
Definitely my parents, my mom and my dad. I lean on both of them quite a bit. I mean, as far as mentorship, I mean, it's a number of people I can call for that. Other coaches, my colleagues, some Lee Rowland, which was one of my principals. I mean, there's a number of people that I may reach out to just to vent or to get some type of advice or whatever. But it's like I said, it's my colleagues and it's just people that I've just been around, and but for the most part, it's my parents, hands down, my mom and my dad, without a doubt. My brother, just family.
Mm-hmm. And both your parents back in Oklahoma now, aren't they?
My dad's been living here. My mother's been living in Texas since '88, and she's getting ready to move back next month. So it'd be good to have her back around where I can spend a little bit more time with her. She can spend more time with her granddaughter. So. Yeah, man. Yeah, it's going to be cool to have her back around.
Major key. Baby. Okay, here's how we wrap it up. Like always, man. Who'd y'all lose to this past year? Your last run with Millwood that y'all shouldn't have lost to. And if you could hit that rewind button and run it back, you're going right back to it.
I mean, it was a lot. Like I said, we had a lot of tight games. I mean, Dale City was a good game. I mean, Douglas was a good game. I mean, Oklahoma Christian School was good games. I mean, it's it was a lot of games we played last year that came down to the wire. Like I said, just inexperience, especially in the beginning, and just little bitty mistakes. You know what I mean? That like I said, that we were able to grow from. I mean, there's not really a particular team that I can just say. I mean, because there were quite a few.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But yeah, there was a lot of them. I mean, you know what I mean? Like I said, I mean. It was just one of those things where you just kind of learn from it, and move on. I mean, this year, like I said, I mean, this was a year for a team that's used to winning. We lost a lot of games this year.
But did y'all lose any games that y'all just should have lost? You know what I mean? No, I lied to you. Did y'all lose any games that y'all shouldn't have lost on paper? You know what I mean? I think I might.
I think
say
we
no.
could have beat Westmore if we were in that championship, if we would have just kept our heads. You know what I mean? We just because we were playing really well in that tournament.
Mm-hmm.
We were playing really well. I mean, it's just for whatever reason that Westmore game, that championship game, we just had a meltdown.
Yeah.
And it just spiraled. It just got worse and worse throughout the game.
And I bet they were playing pretty well to go with
They were
that.
playing very well.
There you go.
You know what I mean? They were knocking down all kind of threes. You had like 4 left-handed kids on there. Them suckers was eating us up. But
One of them days.
it was just one of them days, man. We just had a meltdown. I feel like, that would be a game I'd like to go back and play them again. And if we're on all, if we're playing the way I know we can play, especially the way we were playing that weekend, I think we'd had an opportunity to beat them. They were a good team, and like I said, we just had a meltdown. The other games, like I said, a lot of them were just close. They were just close games, and it's just one of those things where it's kind of really for us narrowed down to free throws, just silly stuff. You know what I mean? But that game, that Westmore game, probably be the one. I mean, they killed us that game. It wasn't even close. They beat us by at least 20 points. That's probably one of the worst loss we had that year. But like I said, we were just, for whatever reason, we just out of character that game. Mm-hmm. So I would like to take that back, just play that game, and we're playing like we just, I know we can play.
Sounds good.
Yeah.
Well, listen, Coach, I always appreciate your time, man. Congratulations on the new endeavor for the second time. You're going to do big things. I'm always going to be watching from across the turnpike.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? I'm going to be calling and checking on you and seeing what's going on, man.
Oh, yeah. People don't even know that type of talks we be having, man.
Yeah, they don't know at all, man.
But they're going to continue, man. All right, my brother.
All right, man. Appreciate it, bro.